Tell me about your latest deal.
This week, outside of 9 transactions we have in progress right now, we sold a portfolio of 12 buildings and 100 apartment units, walking distance to downtown San Diego. I'm Conor Brennan of the Brennan Group of Marcus and Millichap, and I specialize in the sale of apartment buildings. This was one interesting deal that outlines the importance of good representation. In this specific deal, the buyer is a good friend, a very strong Southern California investor and repeat client, capable of stroking $100 million checks and closing the next day. The seller, also a good friend, I've sold several buildings to, was motivated to exit California in 1031 into less management intensive assets. So as any deal goes, we had a gap in buyer and seller net pricing expectations. The seller wanted the buyer to assume several less than perfect loans, some of them 100 basis points higher than today's rates. The buyer was struggling with their projected returns, so we kind of hit a snag on debt assumptions, so we had to get creative. We weighed the value of those debt assumptions versus the value of the buyer and seller coordinating to absorb those prepayment penalties. And we figured out that paying off those prepayment penalties allowed the buyer to substantially raise their projected returns through a back-end refi with new debt, enough so to where we were actually able to bridge the net pricing gap of the buyer and the seller and ultimately get the deal across the finish line. So in this case, choosing a broker with the ability to get creative and offer customized solutions not only added value to both the buyer and the seller, but it made the deal happen.